Hello and a very warm welcome to you. And if you don't know me yet, I'm Olivier Girard. I'm an ergonomist and a posture therapist. As an ergonomist, my job is to help you and your employer deal with everything which is outside of your body, which can have an impact on your health. That is the tools that you use, the organization of your tasks, and the environment in the sense of light, temperature, noise, vibrations, and this kind of stuff. But my specialty is really workplace and biomechanics. Next to that, I'm a posture therapist. And as a posture therapist, I deal with everything that you do to yourself. Yeah, that means the way you use each muscle and joint throughout your daily activities. Basically, the job as a posture therapist is to help you become your own therapist, in the sense that if you break your leg, your body will recover by itself. No, you don't need to do anything for the bone to grow again and the two parts to stick to each other. So if you have chronic pain or pain that's recurring, it means that the body regeneration mechanisms don't work anymore or don't work well enough. And the main reason for that is that you put oil on the fire during the day throughout all your daily activities at work, at home, etc. And my job is to help you fix this oil on the fire so that you can get better. Many of you complain about neck pain. I mean, if you look at the stats today, if I remember well, around 70% of my B2B clients have pain in the neck. I mean, it's not disability for all of them, but it's a massive chunk of people, and young people have neck pain too. So what I want to do in this free live session, which is say my monthly present to the community and to you, is help you recognize 9 posture factors that are going to create tension in your neck. And next to helping you recognize them, I want to help you fix them. Okay, so these 9 factors are 5 factors that are related to what you do with your head and 4 factors that are related to what you do with your elbows. And I'm going to go through the 9 factors and every time explain you the factor, where it comes from, and show you one exercise to deal with it. Of course, there are more exercises, but in the next, say, probably 40 minutes, you're going to have 9 great neck exercises. So bear with me. I mean, after 40 minutes, my guarantee is that your neck will feel better, and mainly that you will be empowered to, do this by yourself, which will help you become autonomous. And this is what I care mainly about. So you see, here is my program. And the first neck factor that I want to mention is excessive neck flexion. Excessive neck flexion is when your neck flexes more than 20 degrees. So your line of sight goes from here to here. And you recognize every situation where you're on your smartphone, on your iPhone, on your tablet, or on your laptop. What does neck flexion do? Well, basically it projects forward the center of gravity of your head. And for the muscles that are here at the back of the neck, it's super heavy to hold the head like this. It's a bit like you would come back from the shopping center holding your shopping bags like this. One of the muscles that's going to be hurt by this is the upper trapezius. So stretch number 1 for us this afternoon is how to stretch the upper trapezius. There are 2 stretches, but the one we're going to do now is especially meant for dealing with excessive neck flexion. So let's go. We lie down on the ground. I lower the cam and join me on the ground. Yeah, if you see what I mean. What we're going to do is we're going to lie on the side with the knees bent, and you're going to hold your lower leg on the upper side, say. And what we're going to do is not lie on the shoulder blade, but rather lie in direction of our chest. And then we're going to turn the head in direction. So now this is my right side, towards the ceiling. So I'm going to turn my head to the left and bend the chin down. Okay? And this stretch, I should be holding for normally around 40 to 60 seconds on each side. To make the stretch a bit more effective,
I can combine it, and we will do this with almost every stretch, combine it with post-isometric relaxation. What is post-isometric relaxation? Is when you inhale, you bring your head against gravity, and when you exhale, you let go. Inhale and exhale. Exactly like this. Yeah? Inhale and exhale. As I said, this is a follow along exercise session. So basically, I'm doing the movements and you can do them at the same time as me. I'm not speeding through the exercises so that you really have the time to experience the benefits of what we're doing. Okay? Now I'm feeling that my neck is starting to relax. So keep it a bit longer, like 10-15 seconds. And when we have kept it long enough, we're ready to switch side. When you stretch your neck, it's always a good idea to stretch both sides. So we're going to turn around, yeah? Just don't want to show you my back, so I turn like this, but any other way to turn is also right. Hold your upper leg so as to keep the shoulder blade low and not on your shoulder blade, but rather on your chest. You turn your head now to the right and bend your chin forward. And again, post-isometric relaxation means inhale against gravity, exhale with gravity. In, exhale. 3 times in total. Inhale, exhale. And don't hesitate to roll on your shoulder so that you find the best angle for you. But this best angle will always be forward, i.e. you don't lie on your shoulder blade. Never. And we stay like this. Enjoy life. It can be that you feel something behind your ear, where you have some kind of bony part of your skull. Well, this is just referred pain of the upper trapezius. It corresponds to the upper attachment of the upper trapezius, so that's kind of normal, And let go. Your chin really goes down, 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 down. And when you feel that the muscle is lengthened, well, here you go. Look, when I get up, I basically roll, go on force, and keep turning until I stand up. So it's a spiral movement to get up. Okay, my face again. Now, the second movement that will kill your neck is when your ear goes in direction of your shoulder. Well, I'm sure you never saw so many people walk like this in the street, but actually it is what you do when you hold the phone between the ear and the shoulder. And again here, we're talking about the upper trapezius and its best friend, the levator scapulae, that runs just beneath it and which refers pain between the shoulder blade and the spine. So this is another very sensitive muscle, and what we're going to do now is actually the second stretch for the upper trapezius, which is the opposite of that movement. Well, therefore the stretch is that on one side and on the other, but the basic position is the one that we are just having now. So I bring the cam down again, and we're going to do exactly the same exercise, except that this time, instead of having the chin going in direction of the collarbone, I'm going to keep facing the cam, you see, and whilst keeping the cam in front of me, I'm going to bring my ear in direction of my shoulder. But again, I'm not lying on my shoulder blade, I'm lying rather in direction of my chest. So, bring the ear to the shoulder blade, my neck just cracked. Yeah? And when I inhale, I go against gravity, and when I exhale, I go with gravity. Yeah? Inhale against gravity, exhale with gravity. Inhale against gravity, exhale with gravity. And here you will see, if we want to play really fine, that the neck extension, i.e. what you do with your chin front back, yeah, will help you finally adjust the stretch. But I wouldn't like you to have a hollow neck, yeah? So I don't want you to pull your chin back. This puts too much pressure on the cervical spine. It would be a way to stretch the front neck muscles, but no worries, another safer stretch is coming. Yeah? And make sure that your shoulder stays low. And what I've just done now is actually activate my lower trapezius to fight against round shoulder. This shoulder wanted to move forward. I told it, you stay back there. Okay? Excellent. So enjoy this position. And then we're going to turn around. So this time I'm going to show you my back so that you have, say, another view on the position. Ready? Let's turn. So again, I hold my upper leg, yeah, and I bring my ear in direction of my shoulder. I'm not lying on my shoulder blade, I'm more lying in direction of my chest. And now, post-isometric relaxation. Inhale against gravity, exhale with gravity. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And you see, every time you exhale, you actually feel that the neck is going further and further and further. And then fine adjustment with the position of the chin, but not in neck extension, only between neutral and very, very slight neck flexion. And you enjoy life. Stay there. Make sure that your nose is not turning in direction of the ground. You really want you want no neck rotation. It's pure lateral flexion of your neck. All right, very good. We release, and we come up, still doing the spiral movement. Yeah, don't stop. And there we will go with the last exercise, lying on the ground. Now, my friends, this is a tricky one. So the first factor that we blamed, say, for neck pain was excessive neck flexion. For example, smartphone. The second factor that we blame was lateral flexion. The third factor that we're now blaming is neck rotation. Does it mean that you're not allowed, between quotes, to rotate your neck? No, it does not mean that. It just means that many of us tend to spend too much time in static asymmetric postures or with too repetitive neck rotations. Do you recognize that situation? Well, this is the situation when you have dual screens, Your visual field is kind of wide like this. When you have two screens, your working visual space is wide like that. So actually you spend your time rotating your neck, and this will overload many muscles, including upper trapezius and things, but it will have a particular effect on the sternocleidomastoid. I love this name, it's crazy. Yeah, so this muscle which goes here, and that creates migraines and dizziness, and sometimes even ear pain and pain at the back of your head. So the next stretch we're going to do is the very useful sternocleidomastoid, and we're going to do that lying on the back. After lying on the back, we're going to train with the chair. So make sure that you have a chair next to you, and this is the last exercise that we do on the ground. But this time we lie on the back, and bear with me because the position will need to be extremely precise, yeah? No joke with that. So let's lie on the ground, yeah? I want to be on my back, and when I'm on my back, I always bring my feet in direction of my buttocks because this helps flattening my lower back. Next to that, I make sure that my collarbones are not in direction of the ceiling, but rather
say, in direction of the floor. That means, in other words, I avoid round-shouldered posture. And now, what I'm going to do is have my right ear going in direction of my right shoulder. Yeah? So that's lateral flexion to the right. And then I'm going to just turn my head to the other side, left, and have a very slight extension of my head. Zack, and here I feel the stretch. If I want to reinforce the stretch, I can even, so now I'm stretching left, I can even let my knees move slightly to the other side. Yeah, this is a massively useful stretch for sternocleidomastoid, but as you see, it's got to be very precise. So I do it once more for you, yeah? We bring the feet in direction of the buttocks. We flatten the lower back, and we don't let the shoulders go round, i.e. we stick the collarbones to the ground. Yeah? The palms of my hands are facing upwards. Now, I bring my right ear to my right shoulder. I have a left rotation and very slight extension. And if I feel comfortable with that, I can bring my knees slightly to the right, so I have a slight torsion in my back. I said slight torsion, yeah? And here you see, this position is so complex that actually we're not going to use the post-isometric relaxation. I mean, we could, it's not that we cannot, but it's that, let's not add too much complexity. We want to do things properly. So here we just keep this position for around 40 seconds, 40 to 60 seconds. It's a funny thing, why we say 40 to 60 seconds is actually the muscles after, say, 5-6 seconds have a reflex to recontract, and they will let go after around 30 seconds or so. Hence, that's why we should hold the stretch for at least 40 seconds. But you know that if you tell people that they should hold the stretch for 40 seconds, they will hold it for 20. So better tell them to hold the stretch for a minute, and you've got a better chance that they will hold it for 40 seconds. So there's a mix of physiology and psychology in this advice that I always give. But I mean, even if you hold it for 1 full minute, it's never gonna hurt you, far from that, yeah? So no worries, you will not say, unless you stretch for hours, you will never exceed, there's no maximum time, say. Okay, back to the middle. Now we go the other way around. We bring the left ear to the left shoulder. We have a bit of rotation to the right and a very slight extension. I do it again. We have the left ear to the left shoulder. We have a bit of neck rotation and a slight extension. And if we want to make it even, let's say, more effective, we bring the knees slightly to the left. And there, actually, in this position, we're not only stretching the sternocleidomastoid, it's also a stretch for the scalene muscles. Yeah, the scalene muscles, which are responsible for compressions of the plexus brachialis, which is the nerve bundle innervating your arms. So you see, with this stretch, if you have radiating pain in your arms, it can be useful for you. If you have a neck hernia, I'm not sure that you should do this exercise. It's a bit too complex for someone who has a neck hernia, at least in the acute phase. Then later on, during the treatment, we get there, but not in the acute phase. And you see, little by little, I feel that all these, say, scalene triangle is relaxing, that the area between my ear and my collarbone is letting go, and my shoulder blade comes to the ground in a quite natural fashion. So I'm happy to stop this stretch and come up from the ground, still doing my spirals. Okay? Now, we have done with that 3 say stretches for 3 neck postures that kill your neck: excessive flexion, side bending, and rotation. The next posture that I'd like to blame is forward head posture. Yeah, forward head posture is actually a massive source of overload in the sternocleidomastoid, but we just stretched the sternocleidomastoid. And you know, I'm not a cheap guy. I promised you 9 exercises, so I've not packaged them so as to give you only 8 or only 7 or only 6. I'm gonna give you an exercise that indirectly helps you deal with forward head posture. Why? Because you need to understand that there's a vicious cycle in your upper body. When your head goes forward, so do your collarbones, i.e. round shoulders, and your mid-back goes round. Yeah? So mid-back round, forward head, and shoulders round are 3 components of a vicious cycle. This means that when one is there, so are the 2 others. Yeah? They always go together. And as they always go together, well, the exercise that I'd like to show you to fight forward head posture is an exercise to strengthen your mid-back muscles called the thoracic spine extensors, which are the muscles which will help you not be like this, a bit depressed, but be like that. Okay, so for that, we need a chair. So I grab my office chair, which you know from all the videos that I give you. Yeah. And what we're going to do now is sit forward in the chair. And this is a 4-step process that we're going to follow now. We're going to stick, say, this part of our forearms on the inside of the knees. Yeah? And the 4 steps are as follows. Step number 1 is we're going to flatten the lower back. So you see here, I feel that the vertebrae in my lower back are popping out. Make them just disappear. Okay, my lower back is flat now. Yeah. Then I'm gonna bring my mid back slightly forward. Yeah, without hollowing the lower back. So for you ladies, this means you bring your bra band forward. That was step 2. Step 3 is you bring your chin inwards. Yeah, and you see that now your spine is really like a plank. Yeah, and with your spine as a plank, what you're gonna do is you're gonna force your forearms against your knees slightly backwards. So really in direction of your belly button actually. Yeah, and that should create tension in your mid back, which you should just keep for around 40 seconds or so. This time 40 seconds is not a matter of physiology. It's just something that, you know, it's long enough for you to need to breathe several times. And I really insist on you being able to breathe whilst you mobilize the mid-back muscles, because if it's one or the other, how are you going to keep your mid-back muscles tonic in daily life activities? Release, and we go once more. I show you everything again. So this part of your forearms on the inside of your knees, and now we flatten the lower back. Yeah, we bring the mid back slightly forward, we bring the chin inwards, and we bring the forearms in direction of the belly button. So we force the forearms against the thighs. It's a static exercise, as you see. The movements, each movement is actually very small, but precision is what matters. And as you see, every exercise that I give, whether on the channel or whether today, is a precise exercise. And this is why, you know, I really don't believe in many reps and things. I believe in the combination of doing things very precisely and doing them frequently. So with me, you're never gonna have, you know, 20 reps of this exercise or so. At max, it's gonna be 3-4, but it's gonna be 3-4 several times a day. And you relax. What I like with this exercise is that it's an exercise, you know, you can do like this. no one will know that you're doing an exercise. So if you're bored at work, you're on a meeting, you don't know what to do, well, at least do something for your back. And I think there's a lot of value in exercises that you can do in all these, moments during the day where you're maybe intellectually active, but biomechanically passive. Because your ability to identify all these micro moments is the key to exercising frequently. And by the way, if you have any question during the session, feel free to ask them via the chat. If they are relevant to what we're doing now, I'm going to take them now. If they're relevant to something else, I'm going to take them at the end. I'm going to answer them at the end of the session. So that was our fourth exercise, and that was meant to, prevent forward head posture. Now, the last harmful neck posture is neck extension. Okay, so we have had flexion more than 20 degrees. My apologies. We have had lateral flexion, rotation, forward head posture, and now we're dealing with extension. How do we stretch against extension? 2 fingers on your head, and you bring your chin down like this. Yeah. And you hold it. This is in particular, stretching the cervical spine extensors, such as the splenius cervicis and splenius capitalis, for example. I don't want you to pull with your hands because they are way too strong for this, for small muscles. So we just pull with 1 finger on each side or 2 fingers on each side. And the idea is really to bring your chin intimately against your collarbones. Okay, great, cool. So with that, we're actually done with the bad neck postures that create neck strain. There were 5 of them: flexion, lateral flexion, rotation, forward head posture, and extension. Okay, now my suggestion is that we move to the next factors, which are, as promised, are elbow factors. What can your elbows do wrong? Well, they can be too far forward. Too far forward is more than 20 degrees. This is easy to self-assess, just bounce with your arms, and you see that if you want to go beyond this point, well, you need more effort. When do you have your arms extended forward? Well, typically when you drive too far away from your steering because your backrest is far backwards, or because your keyboard is too far forward, or one-sided because your mouse is too far forward. What is the effect of that? The effect of that is collarbones moved forward, shoulder blades move sideways, and this is the third component. Sorry, I'm super sick at the moment. This is the third component that we described in this upper cross syndrome, in the vicious cycle in the upper body. The one that I meant with mid-back round, head forward, shoulders forward. And this shortens, in particular, the serratus anterior muscle, which creates very long-lasting pain here in the corner of the shoulder blade and against your chest. This is one of my most popular videos on the web. So I want to show you the stretch for the serratus anterior. For that, I will need to kind of bring you towards my bookshelf here. And what we're going to do, well, the exercise will actually be this. The bookshelf will be here against my arm, and you see the arm will be kind of between my feet. And then I'm going to do the stretch by doing this. Okay? And as I do this, the collarbone will shift backwards,
And as the collarbone shifts backwards, it stretches here. So this is exactly what I'm doing. I'm resting my whole arm against the keyboard, and you see my left foot is past my arm. Yeah, just make sure that your shoulder blade is not high, otherwise it creates neck contraction. So keep the shoulder blade low, and then I transfer my weight. Yeah, and this gently shifts the collarbone backwards, and you stay there. And now again, we can activate the post-isometric relaxation by, pressing against the keyboard when we inhale and letting go when we exhale. Press, exhale, let go. Press, exhale, let go, and you readjust your feet every time. Make sure that your pelvis is pushed backwards, and if you master pelvic tilt, well, tilt it inwards. If you don't master pelvic tilt, consider joining my online posture program, because this is an essential skill for your health. If you don't manage pelvic tilt, you're gonna be in trouble. Okay, very good. And you let go, and I'm going to show you how to stretch the other side, this time turning back so that you have a different angle on the same exercise. So look, I'm going to have my arm entirely against the shelf, not too high, really low, and I'm going to shift my weight to the right leg. And what I was saying with pelvic backwards is this and that. Yeah? And now I inhale, push against the keyboard, exhale, let go. In, exhale. In, exhale. And this feels good, my friend. Usually, especially if you're right-handed, I'm left-handed, but I use the mouse with the right side, it feels better on the right side because the mouse is always the one that runs forward, Pelvis back and in. Okay, so what we're doing here is really working on the problems caused by elbows too far forward. Now what we're gonna do, sorry I should be here, is work on the other, now that's 5, 6, that's the 7th factor for neck pain, which is when your elbows are too spread sideways. Elbow spread creates massive strain in the supraspinatus and is a source of frozen shoulder. So how do I stretch the supraspinatus? You take your hand in your arm, and you see, I cross my arm backwards and I stabilize it with the other hand. Yeah? And from there, I'm gonna turn my head, bring the chin down, and again, pelvis back and in. Sideways, pelvis back and in. And that creates a stretch on my right shoulder. Yeah? So this is the stretch. You see how much forward I am when I stretch. I don't stretch like that. Yeah? Never do that. Always be forward. If you stretch like that, you have a hollow lower back, and that results directly in neck strain, whereas we're actually here to prevent neck strain. Yeah? So really be like a monkey. It's what I call the monkey posture. Here, I don't think it's impossible to use post-isometric relaxation, but it's not simple, so we're not going to do that. And now I feel that my right shoulder is really letting go. So this is the time where gently I can release the stretch. You see, I release it very gently. Yeah? Shake a bit.
Okay, we do the same with the other side. Left arm, cross against your back, catch it with the other hand. Neck rotation to the right, chin down. And pelvis back, pelvis in. This actually also stretches your chest. This is of course definitely an exercise that you can do sitting. It's easier to have a good pelvic posture when you sit. So yeah, if you sit, or let me show you on this chair how it goes. I would do like this. I would hold like that and be forward, flatten my back, zack. It's exactly the same. Yeah? All right, my friends. Now, we are done with 7 of the 9 factors that kill our neck. So let's go with the 2 last ones, and therefore the 2 last exercises for today. The 4 elbow factors were: number 1, spread more than 20 degrees forward. Number 2, spread more than 20 degrees sideways. The third factor is when your elbows are pulled back. When do you pull them back? Well, 2 typical examples. When you do rowing, for example, and you don't stop here, but here, zack. Directly, you bring your your shoulder blades against each other, you shorten the rhomboids, and as soon as you shorten the rhomboids, you create pain in your upper trapezius. This is one situation. Other situation, which is quite typical, is when you sit too close to your desk. You see your keyboard is here, and as you sit close to your desk, you go like that. Okay? How do we work on that? Well, I think the best answer, honestly, and a nice opportunity, is what I call the upper body reset, which is the relaxation exercise. Why will I not stretch the rhomboids? Because the rhomboids tend to be too stretched already. We all tend to have round shoulder posture, and therefore it's not a good idea to stretch the rhomboids. We could relax them if they are tense, but not stretch them. So let's relax the rhomboids and a bit more, because it's Saturday and I'm in a good mood. I want to give you a lot of value. What we're going to do is this upper body reset that made me famous in companies. We're going to have the feet parallel and hands on the belt. Then you're going to have your toes pointing outwards and see what happens. You see immediately your pelvis shifts forward. Okay, so to avoid that, we're going to keep the feet parallel. Then put a hand in your lower back, bend your knees slightly, and lock your knees. And you see again your lower back hollow. So to avoid that, you're going to keep your knees slightly flexed. And what we're going to do next is make sure that the pelvis is at the right front back place. For this, I have invented the penguin test. Now, the penguin test is if you do the penguin like this and you hit your thighs, it means that your pelvis is too far forward. Imagine I punch you in the lower belly, you're going to do and when your arms can cross directly in front of your hip joints, well, there your pelvis is at the right place. So this is the position for the relaxation. Feet parallel, knees unlocked, and penguin test in such a way that my arms can cross freely in front of my hip joints. And by the way, as we're talking about neck strength, you will observe that when my pelvis is forward, there's a lot of effort to provide for reaching your keyboard or anything you're going to do. When you do the penguin test, everything is much closer, so you reduce neck strain. One thing though is the penguin test is not about bringing your pelvis back with a hollow back. It's back but flat. Okay, and this is why I give the image of getting a punch in the lower belly. Is usually if you get punched in the lower belly, you're not going to do that. You're going to do that. You're going to do the two at the same time. Okay, parenthesis closed. So let's go with the upper body reset. For now, this has nothing to do with the rhomboids, but we're going to get there. Okay, so shake your wrists, flexion, extension. And then throw your thumbs. And then we move to elbow level. You see how systematic I am? This is really something that I care a lot about. I go one joint after the other, one direction after the other. There's strategy everywhere. I don't want shoulders now. I don't want to let things by chance be done by chance. I want things to be systematic so that you don't forget anything, number one, and that you understand what we're doing, number two. Okay, now we go with the cervical vertebrae. So this is super useful in the context of talking about neck strain. And what we're going to do now has a direct impact on the rhomboids. We flex the neck very slightly and we turn to the left and to the right, yeah, with the arms around us. And if we want to work even more on the rhomboids, we stop rotating the spine and we just go with the arms, yeah, at mid-height like this. And then we can start with the spinal rotations again and flex a bit more. There's no point to flex too low, you know, when your hands are at knee level, it's more than enough. And the lower you go, the more you work in your lower back. So when talking about the rhomboids, you know, this is kind of the right height, and you can do the two variants. You turn your spine in rotation, or you don't turn your spine, you just turn your arms. Excellent, my friends. All right, we're all good. The posology of this exercise is 10 times a day. Yeah, you really have to do this full 40-second exercise once an hour plus before you go to bed. The reason for this is that the muscle tension is like an exponential thing, you know. If you let it climb up there, well, good luck to get rid of it. Whilst if you break it down every hour, and I'll show you how to do it even more, then you preserve it at a low level, and that will help you not be tense during the day. The stretching exercises that we did before, I mean, you don't need to do them more than twice a day. There are two reasons for that. Number one, it's enough from a physiological perspective. Number two, stretching, you see how much time it takes, you see how much precision it takes. You cannot stretch in the office. I don't believe in that. Yeah, you can't lie down. So basically, the good moments to stretch are morning and evening when you're at home. And this is why you can stretch maximum twice a day. Now, last factor. So one, as far as the elbow was concerned, was too far forward, more than 20 degrees. Number two, too far to the side. Number three, pull back. Number four, when your elbows are raised. Yeah, when your elbows are raised, this shortens upper trapezius and levator scapulae, which we have already stretched. You know, that was the first stretches on the ground with your head turned like this and your head turned like that. So we're not going to repeat the stretch, but I'm going to give you instead the quick upper body reset, which has a great effect on the muscle strength when you tend to do that. Look, quick body reset is only the 10-second version of what we just did. It's you kind of jump on the spot, shake your collarbones, and this is the effective part for what we're talking about. And now you do the spiral for 5 seconds. So look, this is where magic happens. Basically, if you do these 5 plus 5 seconds, i.e. 10 seconds, say every 20 minutes, that's going to cost you 30 seconds per hour, which is 4 minutes per day. You know, I'm not a smoker, but I know that smoking one cigarette lasts longer than that. So we all have the time to do 10 seconds every 20 minutes, especially if the benefits thereof is to keep the muscle tension super low. So with that exercise, you have no more excuse to basically feel neck strain or any other strain. So let's recap what we've said today. We have said there are 9 factors that strain your neck. 5 of them are related to position of the head. 4 of them are related to the elbows. And the exercises that we have dealt with, that we have covered basically, were in the order against deep flexion, yeah, against lateral flexion, against rotation, against forward head posture, and against extension. Then moving to the elbow factors, we talked about having your elbows more than 20 degrees forward, having your elbows more than 20 degrees sideways, having them pulled back or upwards. And with that, you have everything you need to basically, at a symptomatic level, fight against neck pain. At a causal level, I agree that it's another story. This is why I have the online posture programs that will help you really change your habits in such a way that there's less strain accumulation in your neck. And with that, and with my voice, which is now really completely dead, I wish you a beautiful Saturday. And please put your comments down in the comment section so that I have your feedback on this type of session, on whether you like it and the topics that you'd like to cover next. I had a great time with you guys. My neck feels brilliant, so I hope that yours too. And come back to this video, view it again, learn the exercises and integrate them in your daily routine. I wish you a beautiful Saturday, and well, see you soon on the channel. You take care.